Sure, sure. So I'm an immigration attorney. I have a Jamaican background. My parents are from Jamaica. But as you can tell from my voice, I'm from the United States. I was born and raised here, but I've been representing people from the West Indies, as well as from other parts of the world for over 10 years now. I might be going on longer than that. I know I've been at least in business with myself for 10 years, but been practicing much longer than that. And just mostly my focus has been on immigration. I do some estate work as well as some property work, but a lot of it's been in immigration. And unfortunately, especially when it's come to certain West Indians I've been representing when they've been in prison, a good portion of that has been with criminal immigration. So that's sort of just how I've made my living.
Is the name Michelle Laird, or how do you pronounce the last name?
Sure, sure. It's Mitchell Laird.
Okay,
Laird.
Laird.
Yeah, there's not a
Okay.
lot of Lairds in Jamaica, so whenever we
Right, right,
meet one,
right,
we know it's one of
right,
ours.
right, right. So you have represented um um people from the West Indies in immigration matters.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I think you're the perfect person that I want to talk to about the situation. So I'm not sure if you looked into the situation of Ivany, right? I just read
Yeah, yeah,
just now
yeah,
about it.
unfortunately.
So where do we go from here?
So why don't we look at this from the way that a lawyer or rather a judge looks at a case like this, right? So we can start from looking at the first question everybody always asks is, how do I get out of prison? So if you have somebody that's in prison right now with a list of charges against them, the thing I always first look for are how serious are the charges and is there any bail or bond that's being offered? I believe in this case, what we saw from the court records is that there is a bail that's been offered. I don't know if it's been satisfied yet, but it looks like it's somewhere around $2,000, about two
It's
thousand
it's
one hundred
uh,
dollars.
it's uh, I think $1,050.
Yeah, I didn't know if there were two different parts
Right.
to that bail because they
That's
said total
I've
bail.
actually seen one for 500 as well.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, but whatever it is, whatever the amount is, then you know that if someone posts bail, they're allowed to get out of prison. The problem that we have here is that most likely immigration has already been notified, and immigration will put on you what's called a detainer. So while you're in prison, you're being held by the state of Georgia, right? So in the United States, the states are different than the federal government. So the state of Georgia is holding you in their prison. They're paying for your meals. Hopefully, they're paying for your medical care and a bed. I'd like to say heat, but I've been in a lot of prisons. There's no heat in there. So you're there. They're holding her at the expense of the Georgia taxpayer. When you come with bail, they're more than happy to let you go because they don't want to spend that money anymore. But immigration will put a detainer on you. And now a detainer says, hey, when you're ready to let her go, give us a phone call and then hold on to her for a little bit. We'll come pick her up.
Wow.
And so they'll hold on to her until immigration gets a chance to swing around, and then they'll pick her up and bring her to immigration prison instead. Immigration detention is what we call it.
And when we say prison, we're saying jail because she's not in prison as it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But
My
right,
apologies. Yeah.
right. But based on the charges, though, terroristic threats and acts. Let's say immigration does not pick her up.
Right, right.
What are we looking at here? Terroristic threats and acts. How serious is this?
So by itself, it may not be that serious. A lot of these charges are what we call misdemeanors. Depending on what facts they bring against her, I'm sure everyone already knows the facts because it's all been broadcasted over the internet. But it's up to the prosecutor to decide which things he's allowed to actually bring into court. So depending which acts he actually brings into his charging document, into the document that says all of the things that he believes that she did, that'll determine how immigration reacts. So even though it may be a misdemeanor in state court, depending on how it's put into the actual courthouse and how it's handled by the judge, immigration may react completely differently. And they may determine that, in fact, she is what we would call, say, an aggravated felon. They could determine that she is um,